Anywhere you go, you belong. Anywhere you say, anywhere.
Okay, what are you saying, people, and welcome back to another live stream. Hope you're all doing well. Like always, guys, any pairs, anything you're looking at, please leave it down in the chat. We'll take a look together. Like always, I'll share my charts, what I'm looking at, what I'm looking to trade. If you are interested in seeing my setups, my watch list, please be sure to check out my Telegram channel. Link in the description to that and at the top of the chat there as well. And if you are looking for a broker, I do have my affiliate link to IC Markets. Feel free to check it out if you want to as well. But yeah, guys, welcome back to the live stream. Hope everyone had a good weekend and is ready for the week ahead. Not any trades at the moment. Yesterday was a little bit dry for me. The market didn't seem to be moving much, but hopefully you can pick up during the week. But yeah, good morning everyone. Backwards, welcome to the stream. Zesty, welcome. Dylan, how are you doing? Welcome to the stream. Declan, welcome. How are you doing? Morning, bro. It's Toka. How? Oh, okay. So assume Declan's your real name then, the government name. David, welcome to the stream. Good morning from London. Hey, I'm from London as well. Big up, David. But yeah, guys, welcome to the stream. Hope everyone is doing good. Any page you're looking at, feel free to just leave it down in the chat. But we'll take a look at USD CAD first for back Riz as well. It's 12,100. I am buffing. What does that mean? You got buffer face or something? Okay, so Okay, so yeah, USD CAD's been interesting over the past few days. Again, we didn't quite come into that 1.32 area, but it looks like the market could be finding a little bit of a bottom, potentially looking to rally again to the upside. So I'm looking at buys for USD-CAD. Right now, I wouldn't look to buy it because of where it's coming into. It's coming to an area of supply resistance. This is where the sellers are stepping in. If we look at the 4H time frame, you can see the consistent lower highs the market has been placing. You can see here lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. Potentially could even see another lower high for another push to the downside. The market might want to have one more drive before it does decide to go higher potentially. So I'm not going to try and jump the gun and get in too early, just because I have a bullish bias of what I expect the market to do. So USD-CAD, I'm looking at longs. Areas of interest, obviously you've got the double bottom down here, could be some nice buys over there, even this prior low there as well. Quite frankly, I do want to see the market come and take out this high. It might mean that I get in a bit later, but if my bias is correct, the market should be coming back to these highs up here and just seeing that overall higher time frame trend continue, the higher highs and higher lows, and this potentially is that next higher low. So I'm looking at buys for USD-CAD. There might be some short-term sells with this structure here. Breaking through that, you might find some luck to the downside for, again, short-term sells, something like that, which to be fair is not a bad move. But for me, I'm a buyer of this market, so I'm not looking for sells at all. Doesn't mean that sales won't happen, just means it's not really my trade. But for you guys on the lower time frames, USD-CAD could look good for some potential shorts to pick out for buys later. So all in all, I'm looking at longs, but it's just a little bit too early to be looking at longs right now. Coming into these areas, I expect sellers to be coming in. You can see a big wick there to the upside. That could be the start of a lower high for a drive to the downside. So USD-CAD longs look good, but yeah, it's just a little bit too early for me. So shorts are probably the best bet for the moment. Good morning, Anus. Welcome to the stream. Can you take a look at NTC Chef? Of course, we'll take a look. Secret out now, is it? Yeah. The secret is out. The man behind Toka. Morning, Fabio. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're good. Brinsley, welcome to the stream. Good morning. Good morning. Gold, sure thing. We'll take a look. That's actually one of the pairs I'm looking at this week. Zesty, what's up? Hope you're well. Sorry, Miko, regarding buffing, I was missing you, lol. It was 12:10. I thought maybe connection. Oh, yeah, I was just a little bit late coming onto the stream. But yeah, we are here. Don't you worry. Moch, as always, that the mod is back on the stream. So yeah, we'll take a look at gold. So gold is one of the pairs I'm looking at trading this week. I'm looking at some shorts for gold. Again, right now it's a little bit corrective. I'm not really liking the price action. I was looking to see if gold can retest this prior high up here in the 4H. Didn't quite do that. I think we opened up around here. The market just kept pushing to the downside. So I'm looking for gold to retrace. It's a little bit corrective now. So yeah, I do want it to retrace. I'm not willing to short at these kind of prices here, especially with this momentum. The market's starting to find a little bit of a bottom here. Looks like we could be in for a bit of a rally, maybe to the upside, potential lower high, next drive to the downside. Reason I'm saying that, because on the high time frames, we have kind of kissed a major area here of price support, now term resistance. And obviously we've got a lovely level here, 1700, just underneath us down there as well. So we've got a nice little range to work with gold between 1780 and 1700. If we snap through 1780, it could be the start of a major uptrend for gold, potentially back to 2K and onwards. If we can hold this, then I'm looking for the retest of 1700, which we didn't get last time. So we've got a nice little range there to work with, and at the moment we're still trading below it. So I'm looking at sells for gold. We may come up, retest it one more time before we do have that sell off. That's perfectly fine. In fact, that should give me a better entry. But right now we're kind of in the middle of nowhere. Price is kind of a little bit corrected now, a bit of a bowl shape there. So yeah, with gold, I'm looking at sells. Not really looking at buys to the upside. It's a little bit corrective, so hopefully you can push a little bit higher. Maybe kind of retest this kind of neckline, so to speak. It's not the cleanest head and shoulder pattern in the world, but it's the same kind of idea. Left shoulder, head, and you got the right shoulder there. So we come up and retest that level. That could start to look good for some shorts, or even retest the right shoulder, which is trading around 1764. Either which way, from those areas, looking to short for push back down into 1720, 1708, coming into this consolidation there on the left. So gold shorts what I'm looking at. At the moment, nothing right there. But if we can push a little bit higher, which looks likely, I think we could be in for some nice downside later on. So keep an eye out for gold. It's definitely on the watch list, but nothing quite yet though. Euro pound in for sells. Okay, I'll take a look at euro pound, no problem. Josh, welcome to the stream. How are you doing, Maestro? I'm good, man. How are you? I hope I see a blue spanner next to my name when I get home. Yeah, I need to get your URL, because I managed to get Mocha's URL because she left a comment on one of my videos, so I just went on the channel, copy and paste the URL into the community tab. So I need to get your URL to do it. But yeah, if I get a chance, you'll be there. Don't you worry. Okay, so yeah, I'll take a look at euro pound, no problem. You asked, I'm in a sell on pound yen. Okay, I'll take a look at pound yen, 167.788. Are you in a profitable trade now? I'm not in any trade currently at the moment, Josh. Are you going to look at trade in December? Yeah, of course. I mean, I probably won't look, I don't know, because there's like that little week between Christmas and New Year's, which I don't know, the market might be a little bit dry. I may not look to trade during that week, but yeah, every other day which is available, yeah, I will be looking to trade December. I always trade during December, but that little week between Christmas and New Year's is a little bit choppy, so I might not trade that week. But we'll see. If things look good, you might try and sneak something in. Okay, let me take a look at euro pound first. Okay, so euro pound. Yeah, euro pound, interesting stuff from this guy as well. You said you're in a sell, or you're looking to sell, or you just want my opinion? Euro pound in for sells. Okay, you're in for sells. Okay, so euro pound, yeah, it's a little bit corrective. Not the biggest fan of this price action here. I did say coming into the week, euro pound sells do look good back down into this area here, which it's not too far away from. It's a little bit corrective, so price you can do one or two things. It's going to carry on with that corrective price action with these kind of choppy lower highs, as you can see, you know, consecutive lower highs there, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's even going to carry on with that kind of theme and still just chop like that to the downside, or it will kind of fake to the upside first, retest some structure, you know, fake out these highs. Then we could see a nice sell with a bit more momentum to the downside, which will look a lot better in my opinion. So yeah, euro pound sells do look good. We've cleared out those lows on the left. Let me just delete this. So we've cleared out those lows on the left over here. So breaking through that structure. So our next kind of area of value is back down here, potentially even further at that support. But the one thing is that it's just very, very corrective, so it's not the best structure to short. Maybe in the lower time frames you can get something nice, but looking at the 4H and the hourly, it's not particularly appetizing. So if we can get a retest of structure up here around the 0.715, that'd be a really nice place to short. You can see you've got these major lower highs in the 4H, 1, 2, 3. Could see a fourth one around there, and then we can see some sells come back in, or price might just continue with this theme to the downside. You know, I don't decide which one price is going to do. It's completely up to price. If it was me looking to trade this one, I'd wait for that one rather than try and get into some shorts in there. Just a little bit too tightly knit for me. But yeah, do what you will with that. Euro pound is a little bit of a choppy pair anyway, so it's doing what it always does pretty much. But yeah, sells do look good. I agree with that in terms of the direction. Targets look good as well, back down 0.86 200. Just need to find a good little place to get those entries in. But yeah, it's a choppy pair, so I'm not expecting anything magical really. Okay, so pound yen, we'll take a look see. I'm long with gold, 1755 first TP. Okay, we'll go take a look at gold longs. Hi Henrique, welcome to the stream. Hope you're good. ADJPY, no problem. Yeah, man, I'll be home later on this afternoon, but we'll definitely get it sorted out on tomorrow's stream. Nice, just signed into my phone so I could watch till this. Okay, no problem, Toka. Or should I call you Dex? No, I'll just call you Token. AUSD, okay, Deke, no problem. Richard, welcome. Hope everyone is well. Yeah, I hope everyone's doing good. I hope you're good as well. Can you take a look at DAX? Okay, and US 100, you get some, no problem. I'll get onto the indices for you. Okay, so first we'll take a look at pound yen and take a look at gold as well. Hey, thank you so much, Jason, for subscribing. Is anyone keeping up with the World Cup, by the way? Just out of interest. Where is pound yen? There you are. Okay, so pound yen. Okay, so we're kind of in a nice area for sales, so it does look good in this area. Again, pound yen's been particularly corrective, so I've been a bit reluctant to sell it. Same with euro yen, very, very corrective, so I don't really like selling structured like that. So with pound yen, I haven't really been entertaining price action. Again, we still do have, these lower highs here. Well, we've got the high up there, we've got the lower high. Then price recently made that lower low. So it's in a nice area where we can see some short step in. As to how far is another question. We could see the next kind of main swing. So we could see something like this happen again. Or we could see the market kind of fit this theme of these minor higher highs and higher lows. Could see another down move into this sort of area here potentially. The market finds its strength again and continues higher. Or it could actually do it from up there as well. This is a low that the market could find support at here and then find some nice buys to take it further. So all in all, pound yen is still very corrective. Shorts do look good up there. I think we did tap into 168, which is coming into this resistance here as well. So it is a really nice level to short from. My only question mark is how far does it go? I mean, higher time frames for me are still particularly bullish, so I'm still overall long bias on pound yen, but the 4H time frame has broken structure, so that's why I think we can see some temporary downside. But yeah, I just don't know how far it could go. We could see that next bearish leg, or we could find support early on. It's up to price with that one. So that's something to do with trade management, how you're going to manage that. Stick to your plan or adjust. That's completely up to you. But yeah, that's what my kind of outlook is on pound yen. Nice place to sell it. We could see a bearish swing, or we could find strength there because of the higher time frames are still bullish. Price could find support there, which is just good areas to take partials at anyway. So yeah, pound yen sales do look good, but for us to really get going, we need to break up quite a few lows to get going. So we'll see how that gets on. Similar with euro yen as well. There's a lot of lows here. The market's really struggling to break through. To be fair, struggling at resistance as well, to be fair. So it's just kind of a big mess. We saw a lovely impulsive price action here, and then it's just a huge correction, which could give us the bearish leg, but we need to see a lot of momentum for that. You can see we did see a fairly strong candle there, but it hasn't really done much in terms of taking out any significant lows. So being reluctant to sell pound yen and euro yen, and for those reasons I'm letting them do their thing. Doesn't mean they can't sell off. It's not really a trade that I'll look to take. But the sales do look good for pound yen at 168 nonetheless. Okay, we'll see what's going on for gold longs, and I'll go into ADJPY, AUDUSD, and take a look at some indices. What's good, Big Bang? Welcome to the stream. Hope you are good. Richard, yeah, come on, England. Yeah, I watched England yesterday. It was a really good game, actually. Surprised how good they were. Thanks, Miko. Appreciate your opinion on price actually being choppy. No problem. Again, that's the kind of with trading. When you apply your strategy, you need to understand the best conditions for that strategy as well, because you can take a simple strategy like a break and retest strategy, make it very, very powerful if you know when to apply it and know when not to apply it, most importantly, because you can have two traders who, one will just imply the break and retest everywhere and anywhere they go, and there'll be traders that will only apply it selective places, and those traders will take a lot less trades, but they'll be so much more profitable than the person who just applies it everywhere. So understanding when and when not to apply a strategy is a whole element and aspect to your strategy itself, but it can do wonders really. And of course, to find that out is purely from back testing and experience as well. you know, you can, as you trade more, you see when it works better and when it doesn't work as well. Okay, so what pair was I looking at? Gold long. So yeah, gold is starting to find support around here. Is it testing that high? Not quite. It's testing this area here though. So yeah, where do you say go long into TP1, TP2? 170.75, so 1775, a lot of sevens there. So around this area here, that yeah, we could see that. I'm looking at sales personally. It is starting to kind of give us that kind of rounded shape here, so I would expect to see some upside. I would say watch out for this level here, just in case price does send that back down to your entry price. But for me, I'm a bear in this market, so coming up to these areas up here is where I'm going to start looking for my sells to see if I can get it back down to 1700. But yeah, we are starting to round off a little bit, so I do expect to see some upsides, but most likely for retracement. So we'll see how that gets going. But yeah, I am a bear in this market, but I do expect to see some upside nonetheless. But I will be looking to sell it when it gets to those prices. ADJPY, AUDUSD, we're getting to in some indices too, no problem. Okay, so yeah, ADJPY was the pair I was trading last week, and since then it's been hella corrective, and just difficult to find a good trade for this one. You know, ever since I got into my trade around here, I did take some partials and it went against me there, knocked out my stop loss, then it had a nice move to the downside, found support, went up again, formed a bit of a lower high, then respected support, and that's back there again. So it's just absolutely horrendous. So I'm not going to be looking to trade this one anymore. I know the theme of the market and the reason I was selling is because of these lower highs, and they're still there, they're still consistent, but I'm not liking the fact that the market is really struggling to break through this. And you know, this could actually be the catalyst for an up move. Reason I say that is because if you look at the higher time frames here, if you look at the daily here, you can see the daily is actually still technically bullish. It's technically a bullish structure. And as a person who trades structure, you know, I do pay attention a lot to that and factor that into my trading a lot. And we've got highs, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, and potentially still could be a higher low. The market has not broken this price from the low here yet. It hasn't broken. So technically, from a daily perspective, it's still bullish, and we could still see a move like this happen to the upside. So you could still see price do something like that. And from a 4H perspective, it looks like the lower highs are intact and we could see price roll over. But it's from a daily, it contradicts that. So purely from that aspect, and the fact that it's really corrective and choppy, just tells me it's a no-no to look to trade. Because if I'm going to trade this, I can only look to short it because that's the 4H direction. But the daily's up and it's choppy, so it's just a pair that I'm going to put to the side until it starts to clean up a little bit. If we can get a push to the upside into this high up here, because we do have a lot of liquidity built up and probably a lot of stop losses built up just above this area here. So just above this area here, there's probably a lot of stop losses above that. So you could see the market maybe give us a push to the upside, find resistance up around this area here, and then we could potentially sell off to the downside from there, and then probably see a little bit of momentum. But even that, I'll probably have to give it a miss. But nonetheless, I do think we can get a nice reaction. Might not be one to start, you know, a huge downtrend, but you can probably get a, you know, fairly good move, maybe something like probably like 50 to 100 pips maybe at best, maybe back down to the support. So yeah, so sells on AJ probably look okay. But this area here, I would watch out for entries. Anything in here is just way too choppy. A lot of wicks, a lot of rejection, nothing too particularly clean there. So yeah, if you can see an up move to that high, sales will look good. If we break through that high, then that means the daily could be kicking in and we could be going bullish. And then the higher highs and the higher lows will look a lot better on the 4H. And then we've got time frame synchronicity between the daily and the 4H. And the buys will look a lot better at that point. But right now, keep an eye on 94,600. AUDUSD, this is another pair that I'm looking at selling as well. I'm looking at price coming back down to the lows. If I do zoom out and go to the monthly time frame, I am looking at push back down into this support right here, 0.61329. So that's the direction I'm looking to trade in for AUDUSD for foreseeable future, basically, because I'm looking at that being the next lower high. It's a little bit choppy, a little bit corrective, so I'm seeing if we can form some resistance here and potentially sell off from around these areas here. But at the moment, things are still looking pretty bullish, and there's no confirmations to go short at the moment. So right now for AUSD, I'm sitting and watching, seeing how price gets going. If we get a move up to here, I'll be interested as well into that prior high. I'll be interested in shorts. But at the moment, there's nothing there yet. So AUSD, I'm looking at shorts back down into this level here, and then so on and so forth. So we've got that level. We've got some demand around there, around here as well. Nice little level running through there. So there's multiple areas we can look to trade to. But at the moment, no real kind of shorting opportunity at the moment. So looking at shorts, looking at pushback down to 0.654, which is that level. But I just need to see some development in this area or push to that area. So either which way, just going to wait for those shorts to come. And then I will look to get involved, but nothing at the moment. So hopefully that made sense. Let me know if you're looking for something similar as well. ADC Chef Kajen will take a look, no problem, big bang. Skipper Johnson, welcome to the stream. You're USD, of course, no problem. Don't forget the likes, much appreciated, Richard. Yeah, guys, if you are enjoying the stream, please be sure to subscribe and drop a like if you are enjoying it. It does really help out the channel. Okay, so was it ADC Chef and Kajen. ADC Chef. So yeah, ADC Chef, yeah, a lovely, lovely pair. Not really, it's a little bit choppy, but I do like the downtrend that we've got. We've obviously got the daily lows down here. I was looking at ADC Chef quite a lot over the weekend, and it does make a lot of sense to me. It does make a lot of sense. It's just very, very choppy, and I wish I would have got into the trade around this high up here on that double top there. It'll look very nice to enter up there, but I wasn't looking at ADC Chef last week, so did miss on that opportunity. That would have been a nice little entry there for some sales. Now it doesn't particularly look as good, coming into these areas here. You can see the market is forming a bit of support there, struggling to break through. And again, forming support here as well, struggling to break through. So with ADC Chef, high time frames are very bearish still. Monthly, weekly, daily, all points to the downside. 4H is still kind of bearish here, just a little bit up and down. So in terms of direction, it's very, very clear to me that I'm looking for sells. It's just I want to find a good place to sell it from. And in these areas is a little bit of a no-no, because this is where the buyers are stepping in and are actually being fairly successful as well. So if you can see another drive to the upside, I think some short-term sells will look good, back into these kind of ranges here, 0.639, 0.64. You can see every time we kind of see a nice bullish rally, market came straight back down. Nice bullish rally, straight back down. Nice bullish rally, back down. Again there and again there. So you can see every time the market tries to find strength, we come straight back down. And that's probably because the higher time frames are stepping in. So if you can see something like that again, another rally to the upside, sells from there will look good. But the reason why I say short-term sells is because the market's starting to pick up pace around here. So I wouldn't go for the home run and try and look for a move back down to these lows, because the market could well find another higher low like it's doing here and push straight back to your entry price. So ADC Chef sells. ADC Chef sells look good, but I wouldn't push it too far. So a nice sell from up here, like I said, 0.638, 0.64, and probably like back down to maybe like a trend line here or so, or maybe some consolidation around here would make a lot of sense. Yeah, you just don't want to push it too far. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at for ADC Chef. Let me know if you're looking at something similar. CAD Yen, we'll take a look to Euro USD, we'll get into that, and then we'll go through the indices. I actually completely forgot about the indices, Richard. Let me get into the indices as well. US 30, we'll take a look. George, no problem. NC Chef as well, take a look, which is actually a pair I'm looking at this week too. So I'll do CAD Yen and then I'll go on to the indices, and we'll just do the indices together. Okay, so CAD Yen, Yeah, CAD yen buys look very good at the start of the week. It wasn't a pair that I was looking at, but on my weekly analysis, we were having a lot of rejection around here, and I was pointing out that buys do look good. I still do expect to see some upside for CAD yen as well. Very, very critical support. The market came in heavy, very, very heavy. All that momentum depleted. You can see we kind of get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kind of small body candles, wicks all over the place. The market is just holding onto that support. And yesterday we kind of gained a little bit of momentum to the upside. Nothing too crazy, but I do think it could be the catalyst for a move to the upside and for price to start to find some life. So with CAD yen, I'm looking at a move higher. This is the area I'm looking at for target wise. Reason being, it lines up almost perfectly with that high there on the left as well, 106,700, 106,600. And then we've got obviously the consolidation low here as well, which we broke through with a lot of momentum. Never got the retest of either. So CAD yen upside looks very good into these levels here. You know, take your pick or take some partials coming into that level there. In terms of entries, if we can pick up some momentum, potentially back down at this low, that would be nice. And then some buys there to the upside, or if you want to be a little bit more safer, you can wait for that high to break and then catch it on the retest, if there is a retest, of course, and then take the buys from that just to be a little bit safer. But nonetheless, buys look really good for me. Even if we do come back down and retest the same support and the support doesn't hold there, you know, buys from here look good as well. So CAD yen for me, buys look good. Expecting 106,600 and potentially 107,400, which are these two levels. And then we'll see what happens from then on, because again, a lot of momentum. We could see the bears kick back in and see another drive back down again. So we'll talk about that later on, you know, when we get to those areas. But for now, buys make a lot of sense to me for CAD yen. A lot of sense. And again, just to point it out, the higher time frames still very bullish still. So you're still in line with the higher time frames, still in line with the 4H, and yeah, a lot of confluence favoring those buys. Doesn't mean it's going to happen necessarily, but probability is fairly high for that move to take place. Okay, so we'll take a look at the indices now, and then we'll go into Euro USD after and enter the CHF. Miko, does the price range calculator on TradingView on the graph calculate gold correctly? Yes, it does. It should do. If it doesn't, then that's a problem with TradingView. But so you're talking about this little measuring tool down the left? 1746 to 1747. 1746 was more or less 1746 to 1747. No, that's 10 pips. That's 10 pips. It's I think it's like micro, because on currencies it's so for example Euro USD, that would be 70 pips, but gold the decimals on a place to the right. So this here, so if I measure this move from that low to that high, that's not 1,500, it's actually 154.75 pips. So the decimals on the one more place to the right than it should be. So yeah, it is right. It's just the decimals in the wrong place. But what's in the right place, just wrong place if you're looking at Forex pairs. So yeah, it's not 100 pips, it's 10 pips. But when you're reading gold and like silver, just forget the extra digit and count the rest. But yeah, hopefully that answered the question. I'll go into the indices now. Okay, so we'll start with all the DAX. Let's see what's going on here. Okay, wow, really big rally there to the upside. Really big rally to the upside, taking out some highs there. It is coming into this level here, which is more important than this high. So we haven't really cleared the bearish territory, I would say. coming to these areas is more important because this is where we had the big drive. The market came back down. This is more of a minor swing. This is the major swing which we're coming into. So we could see some really nice sells step into the market around about here-ish, into this 1444 area. I would wait for some structures to break in the 4H time frame for those sells, because at the moment the market is really consistent with these higher highs and higher lows. So if anything, we could see the market push on and continue further, and maybe even take out those highs and go back to highs. You know, we could see price take out the highs there. But this area is a critical area for GR on the daily, weekly, and the 4H. So yeah, from this area, it depends what you're looking for. If you're looking for a small trade, then buys are your best bet. I know we're coming to a key area here, but you want to stick with momentum. Coming back down to test support again, something like this, probably find some nice buys to the upside, straight back into resistance, and that's you done with the trade. You can drop to the hourly 30-minute to maximize that risk reward if you want, but buys are your best bet, just kind of staying in line with this overall structure. If you're looking for sells to take the market lower and potentially a major lower high developing, then you want to see a lot more development here. So this is our kind of our low that's keeping the market bullish. If you can break through that low, that will be the catalyst for some sells for me, and maybe the start of a major lower high developing and a big down move. And obviously first clear targets around this area here, you know, coming into that price swing high down the left. So yeah, this one is coming to key areas depending on what you're looking from the market. Depends, you know, what you want to do in terms of buying and selling. If you are still bullish, trying to just stay with the trend and keep things going, then obviously you want to see some retracement away from that high, and this area is definitely the first kind of area of interest. I'll say keep an eye on this area here, which is what was that, 14,336, and keep an eye on this area here as well, which is 14,302. Some nice areas to buy there on the hourly 30-minute time frame. You know, take what you can and then leave. If you're looking for a major lower high, you want to see a bit more evidence that will break it through structure, and 14,196 is a clear area you want to see price breakthrough. So I hope that made sense there. I'll go into US 100 and US 30 next. Might as well take a look at US 500 as well whilst we're at it. Then we'll go into Euro USD too. Yeah, I'm looking for something similar on 80 chef, looking to buy on the hourly time frame. Okay, so yeah, we could see some upside because it's at that support. But based on my strategy and how I look to view the market, I don't even look to sell there. But obviously, I want price to head higher first before selling. It's a very, very choppy market, so you can probably do a decent, you know, decent like buying and selling between the ranges, because it is kind of ranging at the end of the day. So yeah, buying low, selling high, you could get some nice quick trades from that. But I wouldn't hang on to either the buys or the sells for too long. I lost 2 trades on pound CHF. We'll go take a look at pound CHF. A little bit choppy last time I looked at it. Miko, can I sync the low time frame, because now I use the daily for direction and major levels, then 4H for mine levels and confirmation of the daily direction, and then hourly for entry? Yeah, that's something similar to how I trade as well. I mean, I'm actually gonna, because I was supposed to do a video about my analysis and how I analyze the charts, so I'll do a video kind of breaking that down in a bit more detail probably for next Friday. But yeah, similar to how I analyze the charts, you know, I'm looking at the higher time frame structure, I'm looking at the more immediate term structure, similar to what I did here, you know, with GR, because we're trading like higher time frame area where a low high could happen, but right now the market's still bullish, so I'm waiting for structure to shift first before I sell. So that's kind of similar to what you're talking about. So yeah, I mean, when you're using the daily for direction, I don't recommend going too low, like past the hourly time frame, because then it gets too technical and you're doing too much to get a trade. You know, you don't want to be looking at the daily and then going all the way down to the 15-minute to take a trade. You might as well just look at the 4H and the hourly, or even just the hourly with the 15-minute. You don't have to look at the daily too. You can if you want to, but you're doing a lot of work just to find a move on the 15-minute that could only last 5-6 candles, which is like an hour and a half or hour 15 minutes. So yeah, I wouldn't say go too low if you're looking at the daily. Hourly, I wouldn't say go low. Obviously, if you want to, feel free. but you're just doing a lot of work there. So yeah, that's something similar to what I look at. No problem, didn't happen to help. I struggled to apply that on the lower time frames because I get confused if I should look at the 4H for direction or hourly. Well, again, there's no right or wrong answer of that. You pick one and you stick with it. Sometimes the hourly will give you the right direction. Sometimes the 4H will give you the right direction. You don't know where the market's going to go. If the 4 hour is trending up like it is right now, the market could continue go higher, or it could crack the support and flip bearish. We can capitalize on both directions. So it doesn't really matter. If we take buys now and it flips bearish, we can take sells later on. So you don't have to worry if you're in the right direction or not. Just pick a time frame and stick with that time frame for direction for everything, because then you have consistency. You'll be consistent when you're wrong, and you'll be consistent when you're right, and you won't be stressing to say which time frame should I choose from. So yeah, just pick one and stick with it. Daily's a good one, because it counts more time frames. The higher the better, technically, because it's more close to the bigger picture. But either time frame is fine, because there's successful trades on the lower time frames, successful trades on the higher time frames as well. So quite frankly, it doesn't matter as long as you're consistent. But yeah, US 30 coming into a nice high as well. So US 30 still been trading the same area as well. So I do think with this one, we could be forming that major lower high. If you look at the daily chart here, did not mean to do that. Lower high, lower high, lower high, potentially another one there as well. So if this thing is going to roll over, this is the prime area for that place, for the market to do that. Right now is kind of just consolidating, so I would avoid trading the market and just seeing what we do. Do we snap to the highs and break through and take out the high there on the left, which is trading at around 34295? So do we take out that high and keep going, or do we break to the consolidation? Break out the consolidation to the downside and potentially get that reversal? Either which way, we can look to capitalize on both directions. Right now, it's a little bit choppy here for US 30. So, quite frankly, unless you're on the lower time frames, there might be some nice buys on the lower, like hourly 30-minute, because we are starting to trend a little bit. This could be the next higher low. So something like this, moving to one of these lows here. Let me use the black line there. So a move like into the low there could provide some nice buys to take it up to the high of the range. So on the lower time frames, that makes sense. But other than that, US 30, is still in that kind of prime area for that lower high to happen. So if you can clear the lows of the consolidation, sales look a lot better. If not, then the market is still bullish and can still continue to rally and break through some key structure. So yeah, it depends what you're looking for. For US 30. If you're looking for that big down move, you need to stay patient. Don't want to jump the gun too early. Wait for 33,200 to break. If you're on the lower time frames, buys is still your best bet. Back to the highs there, around 34-ish. And US 100 will take a look as well. US 100, again, this is broken through those highs down the left. It's not necessarily the major high. Major highs are up there and there and there. The market is it's finding a little bit of a bottom here. We've got the low, the lower low, the equal low here. Price kind of rounding off a little bit. So sells don't look particularly good, as in we could see the market sell off, but I don't think it will go too far. It could do, but in terms of just trading the market from a trading perspective, not necessarily try and get the right direction. I wouldn't really try and push it past this area here, because there's a good chance we can't find support and head higher. So with US 100, could probably actually find some nice buys from here back to this level here, and then probably some nice sells to take it back down again, and then again max, I would say, here. Even this wick here will probably provide some importance there as well. So yeah, with this one, I feel like buys will look good for the short term. That's actually a really nice entry candle there. Buys for the short term, and then probably some sells take it back down into 11,375 will look good. But at the same time, coming to these areas, the buys could look good to step back in again. So all in all, for US 100, nice support, great place for some buys back up to 11,800, and probably some sells back down again. I think we'll just see how price continues. There's no need to look too far in the future and try and predict every single swing of the market. It's probably just drive yourself crazy. But at the moment right now, buys look good. Keep an eye out for that level because we could sell back down from it again. But yeah, if the major low highs are slightly higher up, so you could still push higher to form one of those major low highs to come back down again. But yeah, US 100 is not particularly clear at the moment. Okay, so where am I? Completely lost track. Okay, I took the pound CHF, NZD CHF, and Euro USD for Skipper. No problemo. Euro CAD and Euro CHF, yeah, we'll get onto those as well. Are you still bullish on the DXY? Depends what kind of time scale you're talking about. Depends what time. I mean, we'll take a look at the DXY and I'll share you my kind of thoughts, but it depends what time scale you're talking about. Bigger the time frame, the more confirmation of traders' bias. Yeah, I mean that is true. That is true. The higher time frame, you're closer to the overall picture of what price is doing, so it's more trustworthy and more close to the actual bias of the currency pair. I use the daily for weekly bias, then I execute on 30 minutes because it's more clear for me. Okay, I mean if that works for you, fair enough. I mean the more information, the better, but you need to be able to digest the information because if you're fairly new to trading, I wouldn't recommend looking at a bunch of time frames because more often than not you just confuse yourself. Keep it to 1 or 2. Then once you start to get more confident, you can start to add to that and maybe focus on the higher time frames for your bias if you want to. But the way I look at it is, the daily, the weekly, the monthly, I kind of just group them together and form like an overall bias for them. And I just kind of just group them as the higher time frames and full H. So I spend most of my time just mapping out structure and looking to buy and sell from. But yeah, if you are new to trading, I would keep it to 1 or 2 time frames max. Before looking to progress, to add more if you want to. Don't necessarily have to as well. 1 or 2 could just be good enough for you. Okay, so we'll take a look at Euro USD, and I'll go into NCHF and a couple more which I've forgotten, but I'll go look back and see. So yeah, Euro USD starting to stall a little bit on the daily. I did say if you guys haven't watched my weekly analysis, feel free to go and check it out. To check it out on my channel. It's on my channel there. But I said for Euro USD, I'm still looking at buys for this one for the short term. Now, I still have an overall bearish bias for this one based on the higher time frames. We've broken through a colossal level here for Euro USD, which we're coming back into as resistance. So unless we get above that, I still favor more downside because we could just retest this and kick bearish again. So high time frames, like when I mean high, I mean like monthly, is still bearish, but right now we've broken through structure here on the left, and we've also printed some higher highs and higher lows. So I'm actually looking at longs for Euro USD. So if I can get another down move and if price can respect this low here, I'll actually start looking for some entries to take it higher, sorry. I said I was looking for a push into this area here. It hasn't quite hit that level. But if it respects that low, I will be looking for longs despite that. And I also said back into this level here, which price could still get to. Nonetheless, I'll still be looking at some long opportunities. But with Euro USD, I'm looking at buys. I'm looking to see if we can retest that low and get some buys back in. Again, I'm not looking to push this trade too far. I'll probably be really careful with my targets and my partials because even though structure is my direction, high time frames don't look particularly good, and especially with this huge up move. It's very, very kind of unbalanced, and what I mean by that is there's not a lot of structure helping it out. It's just kind of one big up move, and sometimes those up moves can just come straight back down. When price starts to build structure, that starts to give a solid trend. So when price does come back down, there's a lot of areas where buyers step back in and push it back higher, but when it's just one up move, it's a lot easier for price to come right back down to where the up move came from, which is more or less around this area here. So I'll see what happens at this support if we retest it. And if I do get some nice longs, I'll probably take it back into where it came from up here, probably into these areas, and I'll probably start to scale out that trade, maybe that area there. So something like that is what I'm looking at for Euro USD. Then maybe we see some sellers step back in. Because it's funny, because for Euro USD, structure has broken and price is bullish, so I'm looking at buys for this one. But for pairs like AUD USD and NZD USD, those pairs are still very, very bearish for me, because the lower high of the market is still all the way up there. So I'm still looking at selling this one, and same with NZD USD. The lower high is still all the way up there, so I'm still looking at shorts for this one as well. So yeah, the dollar pair, a little bit contradicted, but I'm just going to follow my technicals rather than try and guess what I think is going to happen. But yeah, Euro USD longs from 1.02325 look good, and these are the areas I have as targets if we come back down from that level, of course. Okay, so that made sense. SDC Chef, I'll take a look, and I'll go on to SDC Chef. I'll take a look at Pound Swiss, and then EuroCAD and EuroC Chef, and the DXY. Okay, I'll take a look at Pound USD too, no problem. Just retail sales. Okay, I actually need to go take a look at the calendar, to be fair, to refresh my memory, because I haven't looked at it this week. Last looked at it on the weekend, so I need to see what we've got going. Appreciate that much. Sunny, welcome to the stream. Hope you're good. I already put this question in the past on you, but again, I want to ask the same question because I want to know that in detail what cases / conditions for trading to stop in the future. Wait, so you're asking, because I really want to know that in detail, what cases / condition for trading. Oh, so you want to know why would trading stop in the future? Well, the only reason why, for us anyway, the only reason for us trading could stop in the future is if for some reason they ban retail traders, or there's only one world currency which everyone uses. Even in that case, you can just trade other stuff. Like there's always going to be gold around, silver, there's going to be stocks, there's always other things you can trade. It doesn't necessarily have to be currencies. So you're going to have to pivot from that perspective. But yeah, the only way for us to trade to stop is if there's only one currency and they just, for some reason, they stop retail traders. I don't think they will do that either, because retail traders are very, very profitable for a lot of people, not necessarily for like banks and stuff, because they don't really care, because they're trading for a lot more money. So yeah, us losing money doesn't really make too much to them. But for brokers anyway, we're very, very profitable for brokers, and they make a lot of money from us. So it doesn't really make sense for retail traders to stop, because it's so profitable. The business model is so profitable, and banks don't really care anyway. And the second reason would be if there's only one world currency, which could happen, to be fair. It could happen. I think it would be a bit difficult to eradicate all currency just in one go, though, and just have one world currency. I think if that's going to happen, it'll probably be a fair bit away. Again, I'm not too knowledgeable in that kind of areas. That's just my kind of thinking if retail trading was to stop. But yeah, those two kind of possibilities to happen soon are very, very doubtful. So yeah, I don't think you have to worry about that. Okay, so we'll take a look at NCTF, Pound CTF, and go EuroCAD and Euro Swiss. So NCTF. Okay, so NCTF, looking at sales for this one, we're coming up into these highs. I'm looking at NCTF coming back down again. Because again, higher time frames for me, still very, very bearish. Market still making consistent lower lows and lower highs. And even if we zoom out, you can see the market overall is in the bearish trend as well. So Sales make complete sense. And coming back into this high, we could easily form a nice little double top here for the market to start bleeding again to the downside. So that's what kind of I'm looking at for NZCHF. If we break through this, that will kind of invalidate the sells, and then we could actually head a little bit higher, maybe to test the consolidation or that pricing low on the left over there. So yeah, I'm a little bit, if we do break through that, I'll just be on the sidelines for NZCHF. But at the moment, we haven't done that yet. So I'm still looking at price coming back over. If we get retest of that, that could be some nice sells there. Or if price can break through some structure and start heading down, some sells here will be good back into that kind of neckline, so to speak, at 0.575. So NZCHF for me, I see sells look good for this one. Coming back into these highs at 0.589, see what happens. Sales from that look good. If we break through, like I said, that kind of invalidates the setup, and I'll just let things be. So at that point, we've got a bit of an uptrend here. I don't know how far that could go. It could go very far, or it could just be a fake out and come back in. We'll find out. But if we break through this low here in the left as well, that'll be good as well, because we already have technically tested the high. So the double top is kind of in play already. So if you do go and break through that, then I'll be expecting the market to head back down here. And then if you break through that, that's when we can expect to see the major swing happen back down to these lows here, if we can break through that neckline at around 0.574. So that's what I'm looking at for NZCHF. Bearish bias on this one. But yeah, it's not the cleanest at the moment. So it's either we take out that low or we retest that support, that resistance, sorry, at around 0.58900. So that's the areas I'll be keeping my eye on. But in terms of direction, only looking at shorts right now for NZCHF. Pound Swiss, Pound Swiss has been quite choppy. I'm not particularly keen to trade this one either right now. It's kind of in like a bit of a weird area, because we know the high time frames are very bearish still, but we're seeing the market find life for some reason. Every time we have these pullbacks, they're quite aggressive. They're nice to short back down, but it's a sign that the trend is not that healthy. If the trend was healthy, we'd be seeing long impulsive phases, nice corrections that probably go half the way or a third of the way, and then we see a nice long move back down again. Here, every time the market sweeps those lows, it's straight back up again. So it's not a good sign that the trend is likely to continue. It could still continue, but just not likely. And we do have this bullish market here, or at least this bullish structure here, that could also be in place to see another high to the upside. So right now, Pound CHF is kind of a little bit contradicting itself. It could head up. We could see the high time frame step back in. So what I want to be seeing is the market start printing some lower lows and lower highs again, and then I'll start being keen to sell it, and most likely just back down to that support. So right now we've got a bit of consolidation there. So if we can snap out of that, nice momentum, blow a high, sales will look good. If we start picking up some pace again, I'll just leave Pound CHF be. Most likely probably come up to these highs, and then we can see what price can do later on. But yeah, it's just very, very corrective. It's not particularly, very bearish on 4H. High time frames, yes, but 4H, which is time frame I focus on, is not really giving me much there to go about with. So yeah, if you can see that down move, break through that consolidation a little bit, momentum, that would be nice. But yeah, I'll probably stay away from now for Pound CHF. Again, Swiss pairs in general are not really the cleanest. EuroCAD and EuroCHF we'll take a look at now. So EuroCAD, what's going on with this pair? EuroCAD recently cleared those highs and come into some areas up here. Again, EuroCAD looks like it could be in for some time for some retracement. I'm not really liking the price action here. In fact, if it comes down, I think buys will look good from some of these areas there. So that prior high, and maybe this resistance here as well. Wrong one. From this resistance here as well. Really nice resistance there. Didn't really get the retest, maybe a slight one over there. So if we do come back into those levels, I would prefer looking to sell. But yeah, I'm not really liking EuroCAD right now. There might be some sells around here, but it's a little bit aggressive in my opinion. The market is quite corrective. We could find us get back on the feet again, another push higher up. So yeah, EuroCAD, I'm not really liking. If it comes back down to these areas, that would be nice for some buying opportunities. As for now, it looks like EuroCHF might see some downside, but nothing that I'm willing to actually trade and place a trade on. So yeah, EuroCAD, I'll be focusing on the buys, because we've had kind of some reversal here from that bearish move to consolidation to bullish now. So if you get a pullback, most likely we'll find support to head higher. I just want to see a little bit more retracement from EuroCAD before stepping into those longs. Let me know what you're looking at, Big Bang, for EuroCAD. Looking at buys, looking at sells. Let us know. And Euro CHF, another dollar, not dollar pair, Swiss pair, which has been a little bit hectic as well. Again, high time frames, cleanly bearish. That's where I'm getting my buys from. If we can see maybe another push to the upside into these areas, some sells might look a little bit better. Coming back into that high there. I would avoid selling it there as well. But it's kind of a similar setup to pound CHF in terms of the high, higher low, high, higher low. Could see the market snap back into those highs. But it's not really something I'm looking to take advantage of because I'm a bear in this market because of the higher time frame. So if you can see a push into that level there, 0.98825, I think sales from there will look good. Anything else I'll stay away from. Sells here don't look good at all. Yeah, something there. And even from that level here, I wouldn't even push the trade too far. Probably back straight into this area here. And that's about it. Because when the market's not clean, say you've got an overall bias in the pair, but it's not very clean, you know, and you see a nice place to sell, a nice place to buy, depending on your bias, you know, don't push the trade too far if it's not clean. Because it's the clean setups, it's the clean trades that go particularly well. The ones that are choppy normally come back to your entry price if you hold the trade too long. So when it's moving like this, you're seeing the market find support again. It's best just to have that bias, because that's important. You need to know if you're a buyer or seller in this market, and that goes with any market you're looking to trade. Look for good areas where you could see a reaction from, and look for areas that the buyers could potentially step back in, and this is definitely one of them. If it was cleaner, we could look to be a bit more confident, push the trade maybe back down to this low here, maybe those lows as well, but it's not looking that good. It doesn't mean it can't go back to those areas. It just means from a trading perspective, as a trader, it doesn't make sense to hold it that far. So I hope that made sense. I'll take a look at the DXY and pound USD. Okay. Have we finished rolling over Euro USD and we beginning to climb again? I think we can do. I mean, I'm looking at buys for Euro. I'm looking at buys. Are you still bearish? Euro USD makes sense. No, I'm only bearish from the higher time frames. Like in the immediate time frame now, I'm only looking at buys for Euro USD, which is why I said for Euro USD, I'm not looking to take the buys too far. So, for example, I'm still looking at buys to the upside. I said if you get back here, I'll look to buy it back up again, and these will be my targets. But I'm not looking to push trade too far. So this enormous monthly level here, because I'm thinking if the market can hold this, we could still see the next wave to the downside take place. So for now, I'm looking at buys for Euro because it's broken structure on the left here. It's taking out that major high, printed these higher highs and higher lows. So I'm actually bullish on Euro USD. But because of the high time frames, I'm just not looking to push it as far. That is all. If you want to check gold, thank you. No problem, Eduardo will get to it. Could AUSD dump and Euro USD pump at the same time? Very unlikely, very, very unlikely. But if Euro for some reason is very, very strong, maybe based on some fundamentals, and AUD is very, very weak based on some fundamentals, then maybe. But most likely Euro USD and AUSD would do this more or less the same thing. It might do it at different rates. Maybe one might consolidate what the other one moves, and another one consolidate, and the other one moves. So because they're both dollar pairs. So if dollar is particularly strong, dollar is normally the governing currency of both of those pairs. So dollar kind of dictates the direction. I mean, if you look at the past kind of year or so, Euro USD has been flying to the downside. AUD has been moving to the downside quite heavily, not as aggressive as Euro. You can see AUSD has been heading down. Euro USD has been heading down with a lot more aggression. So Euro has been a lot weaker, but they've been doing the exact same thing. So it's very unlikely you're going to see strong impulse moves for Euro and then a very bearish move for AU, unless there's some fundamental aspect behind it, which obviously could happen, but it's nothing that I would look to just go and trade. You know, trade the technicals. You can be consistent with that. Is it possible to ban a retail trader? Well, if you're talking about ban an individual trade, then yeah, of course. Ban retail trades altogether? Probably. I mean, it doesn't make sense for people to do that because it's a very profitable market. It's a very, very profitable market for, for everyone else who's not a retail trader, because majority of retail traders lose, but not necessarily that we generate too much money. So it's not, I mean, for brokers, yes. But in the grand scheme of things, like the size of the banks and the money they're trading with, we're not really making too much of a dent, really. So, yeah, I don't think they would. There's no real point to do it. If they do, then yeah, that would be interesting, very, very interesting. I'm sure there'll be ways around it anyway. Because you just don't trade as a retail trader, trades like an institution with other people. But yeah, Sonny, you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about that. I highly doubt anything like that's going to happen anytime soon. 72 watching, as Richard mentioned, please leave a like. Much appreciated, much appreciated. Yeah, guys, if you are enjoying the stream, please be sure to leave a like on the stream. It does help out a lot. Good morning, Vince. Everyone joined a bit late. No problem. Being busy this week. I have not looked at the charts yet. Been busy, but I am here to learn, and that's the most important thing, my man. Yeah, just drop any charts that you're looking at, and I'll take a look at it eventually. I'm going to take a look at DXY and Pound USD. Is there any other pair that others? No. Yeah, just DXY and Pound USD. Let me get to that. And I'll take a look at gold as well for Eduardo. Use JPY pre. We'll get to, no problem. Gold. Okay, I'll take a look at oil. XTR USD, okay. I think a nuclear bomb in Eurozone would tank Euro USD. These are thoughts that I lie awake thinking about. Yeah, I mean, a nuclear bomb, it would do something like that. It would definitely do something like that. Good morning, Ross. Welcome to the stream, my man. Euro JPY will take a look, no problemo. So, we'll start with Pound USD and gold, and then we'll go into the rest of the pairs. Okay, so Pound USD. So I'm looking at sales for this one. I'm looking at sales for Pound USD, but it's not ready yet. It's not ready yet for at least my criteria anyway. The market is still printing higher highs and higher lows. You can see here we've got the high up there, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher low. So market's starting to find its feet a little bit, and we could be looking at another move, something like this, before maybe a sell-off later, and we have a bigger retracement. So with Pound USD, I'm not touching just yet. It's getting a little bit corrective now. I'm waiting for price to snap through some lows, and then we could sell it off to the downside. But right now, it doesn't really make too much sense. The market is still particularly bullish, and we could probably head back to these highs here. So on the short term, buys your best bet. Maybe if you come back and retest this level here, that'd be a nice little place to base some longs from. Stop loss underneath the zone, and a push to 1.192 looks good, or even back down at these lows here as well, because you can see the market is still consistent with these higher lows. So could see another one form potentially, and another push back into that resistance. And this looks like a very logical place and a good place to look to take your profit and run, sort of thing. So Pound USD is coming up to an area where we could see a major sell-off. The reason I say that, if you look at the higher time frames, coming into this level, this monthly level here, kind of already wicked into it. This is a huge monthly level, which gave us that critical support which the market broke through, and now it's coming back as resistance. So we could see some big sells step back in for Pound USD, but at the moment everything is still particularly bullish. So if that structure continues, we could still potentially fly and even take out those highs and maybe test that level in a little bit deeper, maybe come into 1.21 up there. So yeah, Pound USD, best bet on the low time frames, hourly, 30, 50 minute, looking for those longs, staying true for that trend. If you are looking for the sales, then I would wait for 1.17652 to break before stepping in with the sales there, before stepping in. Okay, so hopefully that made sense. I'll take a look at gold next. Good morning. I mean, we said that. Argentina won. No way. Argentina won. Saudi 2. No way. No way. Mate, it's a struggle of doing the streams during the World Cup. What? No. Mate, this is supposed to be Messi's year. What is going on, man? That is horrendous. That is horrendous. Mate, Messi better do something. I want him to win. Was it a good goal, Richard? Without liquidity, without retail buyers and sellers, can banks do that? Of course. Banks trade between one another all the time. I mean, if a bank wants to give, I don't know, 100 million to another bank in euro and then get something in a different currency, they do that all the time. They do that all the time without retail traders. Retail traders are a small portion of what the banks are doing. You know, we're not doing 100 million. You know, we're far from that. Very far from that. The 100 million is like a normal Tuesday for them. So, of course, I mean, we do make up, you know, a portion, but it's nothing too great. But yeah, Sonny, you don't have to worry about retail traders ending. I don't know who's scared you about this. Okay, so we'll get on to DXY. So with the DXY, similar to Euro USD, how things look. Okay, so with the DXY, higher time frames. I'm still bullish from a higher time frame perspective, similar to the Euro USD situation. You know, we could retest this structure here. And potentially fly bullish again. We had this huge consolidation here. You know, we could retest this structure and then suddenly, boom, fly bullish and see some more upside. So, yeah, DXY is still bullish from that aspect. If you go into the low time frames, which is the 4H, which is where I really govern my analysis and what I'm looking to do, it's bearish. Reason being, it's broken through this swing low here, which is basically what Euro USD has done. Broken through that swing low, and it's given us these lower lows and lower highs. So I'm actually looking to sell the DXY from that aspect. Reason being, I'm looking to buy Euro USD from that aspect as well. So if I can get Euro USD to pull back, give me a high low, I'll be looking to buy Euro USD, and obviously, you know, sell DXY on the inverse. So expecting DXY to come back down. So if DXY can do something like this for me, that would be very, very nice indeed. Retest that structure, and then yeah, a nice little sell to the downside would be nice. So with the DXY, short term bearish, and by short term I mean kind of short to medium term, because this is the 4H chart and it could last 2-3 weeks, potentially even to the end of the year. So it's not really short term, it's more like medium term. But on the higher time frame scale, shift to the monthly, still bullish, could respect that. Another higher low, start flying to the upside as well. So it's a little bit of both. That's why I said it depends on the time scale you're talking about with the DXY. Short, medium term, bearish, long term, still bullish, as long as we can hold 103 down there. 54 minutes in. Wow, great goal. Oh man, I'm watching those highlights 100%. I'm gonna watch those highlights. Man, I need Messi to get out of this hole now. Okay, I'll take a look at gold and I'll go to USDJPY. It was another pair to take a look at. Gold, USDJPY. I don't think so. I mean, if I've missed out a pair that I said I was going to do, but I've just forgotten it, just drop it down again in the chat. But I'll do gold, USDJPY, and I'll do oil as well. But yeah, if I've missed out a pair, just let me know again. About to close 40 pips on Euro USD. Okay, you long on Euro USD, Dylan? I like that, Rich. You got the stream up and the football up. Beautiful stuff. Sonny, just around the question, nothing just clearing my mind, my right. Okay, so you're just clearing your head. There's got a little bit of doubts going in there. Don't worry, mate. Don't worry. Just focus on the now. Focus on the now, Sonny. You know, if something happens, something happens. We'll get over it as well. I mean, retail trading has been happening for many years before you were born, and most likely will happen many years after. Yeah, after. So yeah, don't worry about it. Okay, so yeah, gold. I'm looking at sells. Gold. I'm looking at sells. At the moment, nothing really clear here. Nothing really clear. It's starting to find some support around this area. Might see some upside. Nothing that is really warrant me to short the pair just yet. Hopefully we can see a push into this level here, 1756, and then we can see it move back down again. But at the moment, I'm kind of just sitting on my hands with gold. There's a few areas I'm looking to target. Basically, I've got this zone mapped out for gold here, 1780 and 1700. We're respecting 1780 very nicely there, and I'm looking for a pushback down to 1700 into this level here as well. So gold, I've got a really nice nice range where I can see the market fluctuating from. If it does break through 1780, could be game over for gold, and we could be in that next bullish phase to the upside back to 2K potentially. So yeah, 1780 is an important level. So I'm looking at sells for now, but we've seen the market kind of sell off a little bit coming to the start of the week, starting to find a bit of a low here. So I need price to retrace and give me that next low high. I'm looking at this being a bit of a head and shoulder pattern here, left head, right shoulder. And we've got the neckline there trading around 1756, and we've also got the right shoulder high around 1765. So those are the areas I'm looking at shorting from, and I'll look to see if I can get my entries around there. If not, then I'll just see what gold does, because I'm not willing to short there. Way too corrective, and it doesn't make any sense in my trading. So yeah, I'm looking at shorting gold from one of those two areas. Target wise, we've obviously got the highs here. You've got the consolidation there, got 1700. So a few areas we can look to push it back to, and even just that price swing low as well will be of importance as well. So yeah, gold shorts look good. Expecting some more downside, but it's just not ready yet. If anything, if anyone's in gold buys, it does look good for push into that level on the lower time frames. But from a selling perspective, nothing quite there yet. Nothing quite there yet. Okay, so hope that made sense with gold. Okay, I'll take a look at USJPY and oil. We don't get to watch football in South Africa. You don't get to watch football in South Africa. And you call it soccer in South Africa. That's interesting. I thought you guys would call it football as well. That long to 755 and then be cautious and go short when conditions. You think we could actually reach 1780? I'm gonna buy long gold. Yeah, we could do. I mean, we could come straight back into the high for the double top. As long as price doesn't clear this zone, I'm still looking at sells for gold. So we could rally back into that 1780. We could come into 1760, 1770, any one of these areas before selling off. I'm just looking at areas where the market could turn, and I've got set requirements where it will trigger me into the trade. If it's not there, then I'll look at a different level. So with gold, it could push all the way back up to 1780. It could only push up to this level and then roll over. I just know that once we get there, that's when I start looking for my sells there as well, and at the double top high. So yeah, the market could push to 1780, retest the high, or it could even push to that high there. It depends what gold wants to do. I'm not really looking at the long opportunities. I know you're in a long, so that's looking pretty good at the moment. I'm not sure how far you're looking to push the trade, but it does look decent at the moment. So for gold, shorts look very good, but I just have to be a little bit patient. And right now, if you're a buyer, it does look pretty good. Okay, so I'll take a look at USJPY now and oil. Okay, so USJPY and oil. Okay, so yeah, USJPY looks a lot like DXY, doesn't it? Looks a lot like DXY. Hey, thank you so much, Kryber. I think I said it right, for subscribing. USJPY looks a lot like oil. I mean, not like oil, like DXY. Bit of around the bottom there, forming a lower high. So yeah, with the only thing with USJPY though is that the high time frame is still very bullish. We've got the high, higher low, high, higher low, high, potentially higher low. So with this higher time frame structure there, you know, I do favor the buys, but at the same time we've got the huge impulsive move down here. So I wouldn't try and look to hold into those buys for too long. So with USJPY, if we can start to form some bullish structure around here, another higher low, I do think we can see another up move take place. Again, I just wouldn't look to push it too far. You know, this resistance here is important. Didn't quite tap it earlier this week. And beyond that, maybe some areas here on the left, maybe this low here on 143,500, because that level there's a little bit far to aim for. So USJPY buys look good. High time frames are still bullish. This potentially could be the next low of the market. Keep an eye on 140,543, 140,500 basically. So you can get a bit of a higher low formation there and targets, take it back to highs. So again, the high time frame is still bullish, but we're not looking for anything too crazy. Just a buy from this level to that level looks likely. And then we could see the seller step back in. It's still 185 pip range as well. I thank you so much, Nutty Pat, for subscribing to the stream, to the channel actually. But yeah, buys from 140,500 to 142,500 look good. You know, there's no need to look for that big swing because we've got all that momentum which could kick in again, and we can see, you know, another impulse move happen. So that is definitely a possibility. But at the moment, starting to find a little bit of a bottom. We've got that price swing high in the on the daily chart, holding as that low. We could see the buyer step back in and take it potentially back to highs. But, you know, we'll take that step by step. So if the market starts breaking through this, another higher low, we'll get back in, so on and so forth. As for now, that's the move that looks likely. Okay, so USJPY longs. Let me know what you're looking at, love pre. Gold, we just took a look at. I'll go into oil now. And XTI USD. We call traffic lights robots. Okay. I think I've heard that before, to be fair. I think I've heard that. South African movie, maybe. So maybe we stop loss up after 1755. Okay, makes sense. Thank you for analysis, no problem. I'm so sorry, but I think there's some person cutting their grass outside. I don't know if you guys can hear it on the mic. If you can, I do apologize. Just coming here after the long break, what technical phase I should revise so that it will all connect. Just coming after the long break, what technical phase should what the technical phase I should revise so that it will connect all my remaining lessons I learned in the past back together. Well, that's a difficult question because obviously I don't know your technical past or your present, to be fair. So it's difficult to say what will connect it all together. All I have to say is, in general, about technicals and trading is focus on a particular setup. You know, it could be something simple as a break and retest. Break and retest, you know, it's kind of the root of everything. Once resistance is broken, comes support. You know, focus on trading break and retest patterns for now at least, and really practice that and make that setup second nature, and understand when to use it and when not to use it, and build your kind of trading style or your strategy or whatever from that alone. Because I feel like a lot of people have a lot of technicals in different areas, whether it's indicators, support and resistance, supply and demand, maybe SMC, a bit of this, a bit of that. You got all this kind of technical knowledge, you know, kind of all that intermediate level, you know, of everything, which makes it very, very confusing for you because you've got a lot of things contradicting one another. One strategy says buy, another strategy says sell, you're not sure which one to do. So you need to master something and become a master of that something, whether it's SMC or whatever strategy, just become a master of that. Or break and retest, so a master of that, and then you can start to add some stuff to it. So if you're a little bit all over the place, you need something to connect the dots. In fact, you don't really need to connect the dots at all. You just need to focus on one particular dot and get that dot to a very high standard, and that will become your basis in trading. Okay, so hopefully that made sense. Okay, I'll take a look at oil and Euro JPY, XTO USD. Can hear motor a little, should be average guard. Yeah, it is small. It is small, I have to say. Yeah, our houses are particularly small. I mean, compared to like the US as well, it's like one house here is like a quarter of a house in the US. It's crazy. To be fair, I think you stopped. Okay, so where is oil? Okay, so oil. So oil, we had a bit of a big sell-off, which we were actually looking at on the stream last week. The market broke through this support here. And we're looking at a push into that level there because we had that double top up here. Market's still consistent with the lower highs, as you can see. Lower high galore, nice little double top, nice little move into that level. However, this low here, because the market is finding some support previously with a lot of momentum, good chance we'll probably see a push, maybe back to retest that level. The market is still bearish, so still favoring the sells, but these wicks here are quite aggressive, and there's a good chance we'll probably come back and retest this prior low here around 83.50. So I think your buys right now are your best bets, and then maybe some sells slightly higher up. So coming from these areas here, you know, these are great areas to look to play some long entries. In fact, and that would have been a nice entry, maybe on the 30-minute or something like that, or the 15-minute, nice entry on that candle there. And we could probably see the market start to trend higher to the upside into 83.50. As long as we can hold 79.90, a lot of nines, 79.90. As long as we can hold this support, I would favor 83.50 up there. So oil looks good for buys, in my opinion. And then maybe from up there, sales will look good again and come back down because we are still in a bearish market, still seeing a lot of momentum. Could see a nice correctional phase for the sellers to get back in. So for now, buys look your best bet for US oil, and 83.50 looks like a good target to have. Also be aware of this kind of area here as well, because if the market doesn't reach 83.50, you know, this is probably the next best area the market could reach before coming back down again. So keep an eye on 81.92. This is definitely a spot you should keep an eye on, because that could take price back down to your entry price. So a good place for partials or just to get out of the trade in general, to be fair. Don't have to necessarily look for 83.50. Yeah, that's what I'm looking at for oil. And XTI, I don't think I have that. Wait, isn't that just the same thing? Okay, it's the exact same thing. I thought that was gas or something. So yeah, basically the same thing. So looking for a pushback to 83.50. Okay, I'll take a look at Euro Yen for Ross. So I really want your house tour. Please make that video well. I'm doing a day in the life. House tour video. Let's start doing some vlogging. That would be such a weird change for me. But yeah, we'll be doing a day in life video. Get on the old bandwagon. Okay, so where is Euro Yen? Okay, so yeah, Euro Yen, like I said, I was talking about this one earlier in the video, and it was with Pound Yen as well. And I said for both of them, you know, we do have that bearish structure in place, but it doesn't look good to sell. Like, it doesn't look good to sell for me anyway. And it depends also what you're looking for. Like, you can probably catch a nice down move for like 50, 60 pips and be done with the day. For me, I'm looking for the next kind of wave. I mean, this candle alone is like 60 pips. So yeah, you can find some nice pips here. There's a lot of pips in the market at the moment, but I wouldn't expect the market to do anything crazy. It could do, but it's not something I'm looking to actually trade. So Euro CHF, obviously we've been forming these low lows and lower highs in the market. We've got the high there, the low there, the low, and the lower high. So the market's been slowly moving to the downside, and we could probably see a push potentially back down to this low. So that's what I was looking at last week for Euro EM, and that's a move that I was looking to trade, but I traded at AJPY instead. But yeah, the move is still technically on. It still meets the requirements of the lower highs. However, the higher time frames are still particularly bullish. Higher time frame is still particularly bullish. We're still seeing a bunch of higher highs and higher lows. A bit of a trend line here as well, which looks like the market had a bit of a bounce from as well. So that's probably playing into the fact that why the market is so choppy at the moment. So Euro JPY, I do think we can see a lot more upside here. And probably see a retest of that structure there. Maybe price could go bullish, but we've got a lot of lows where the market can find support. So I think it depends what you're looking at for Euro yen. If you're looking at sells, sells obviously at this area make a lot of sense. The market's having a hard time breaking through. A lot of wicks, a lot of rejection. Could see a push right back down into this level here, and then done for the day, get out of the trade. Maybe back down to here as well. But from these areas, we could easily find support and see the market start to rally again. We still got this high and this low and that high. Technically speaking, the market could still head bullish with that high low there on the left. So with Euro yen, sales look good, but for short term, and I would be wary because of what the higher time frames are doing. Seeing the daily step back in, we could easily see the market rally to the upside and go a lot further. So if you're looking for shorts up at this level here, what is that, 145, 400-ish, that area makes a lot of sense. But coming down into these areas, you want to start taking your profit and start to back away from the trade. If you're lucky, you could catch a nice break and the market could just melt again. But there's a lot of obstacles in the way, a lot of confluence against that. So for me, it just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. You want to see his girlfriend? I don't actually have a girlfriend at the moment, to be fair. So if you want to see her, she's in the video just there. Basically, non-existent. I'm joking, folks. Do you have a pip target for your trades? No, I normally work with a risk to reward target. I normally have a risk to reward target, which is around 3. So anywhere around 3R, 2.5, 3.5, 2.75, 3.25, around those areas is my risk to reward target. So I like to make sure that on average I'm hitting around 1 to 3R. It's not always a 1 to 3 because I'm taking partials beforehand, but as long as my risk to reward is near enough around the 1 to 3, I'm happy. So if I do hit 1.25, I need to at some point accommodate to that by hitting a 1.35, if that makes sense. But I don't have a pip target because my stop loss for each trade changes. So it's difficult to have a consistent pip target because sometimes I might be able to have like a 30 pip stop loss. So if I hit 90 pips, that's a 1 to 3. But say for another currency, I might need to have a 60 pip stop loss. And if I have a 90 pip target, I'm only hitting a 1 to 1.5. So from that risk to reward perspective, it doesn't make sense. And because I always risk 1%, I stick with my risk to reward rather than have a pip target. If I was only trading one currency pair, then maybe I would have a pip target because everything is going to be in reference to that and it will be sort of similar most of the time. But because if I go and trade euro pound, which doesn't have a lot of pips about it, I could probably get like a 25 pip stop loss. But if I'm going to trade like pound NZD, I might need to have a 50 or a 60 pip stop loss. So having a rigid pip target doesn't really work for the way I trade, and it will mean that my stop loss size will change and my percentage of loss will change. Sometimes I risk 2%, sometimes I risk 0.5%. So a risk to reward is what I stay true to. Or a pip target for a week or month. Yeah. I don't have a pip target. It's always risk to reward. It's always percentage, but which is basically risk to reward. So like 3R, 3%. Okay, Euro USD will take a look. No problem. So, is there any possibility in the near future of existence of man? Of man. Wait. Yeah, I'm confused. What you're saying there, Sonny? You say man? Man or man? Or are you saying existence of just girlfriend? Yeah, of course. Of course. Okay, so which pair was it again? Actually, no, Euro USD. Okay, so yeah, Euro USD. Like I said, looking at some longs. Looking at some longs for this guy. Hopefully get a pullback into this area here, 1.02302. So around there, looking for some longs. That will be looking very, very nice indeed. Looks like we might be seeing a pullback from here. Market starting to struggle. So yeah, a retest of that low, I will consider going long. And these are my areas of targets where I have to secure partials or just exit the trade, depending on how I enter the market. Because right now, Euro USD is bullish on the 4H and daily, and I am looking to go long, but because of where we're trading on the monthly time frame, we're struggling at a particular area. Where we could come back down again. So Euro USD, I'm looking at buys, but I'm only interested at this level here, or even if you have a deeper pullback into some of these areas, I'll look to go long. I'll look to go long as well, and these will be my targets. But we'll see close to the actual trade, because I might just target that area, I might target the high. We'll see how things get actual to the trade. But for me, Euro USD, I am looking at buys. Let me know if you're looking at something similar as well. Okay, yeah, Mama's lady, yeah. So yeah, 100%. Near future, I mean, we'll see. I mean, if life presents someone in front of me in the near future, then I will take the opportunity, of course. But I can't force it. You can't force it. It's either connection or no connection. I don't know why I'm giving dating advice on the Forex live stream. What's going on here? Use JPY as well, no problem. NYX will take a look. Gold, home PC will get to as well. Okay, so USD JPY. Okay, so USD JPY 140.500. Yeah, that's what I'm looking at some longs from. To be fair, I'm actually not looking at trading the pair, but if I was, that's what I'll be looking at to go long. Mainly being high time frames are still bullish for me, so I'm still looking at the long opportunities. You can see the higher highs and higher lows the market's printing, so I'm looking at another higher low potentially there. It's not confirmed yet, but this is a very, very good place if the market is going to form a higher low. It is from around here. You can see coming to that 0.618 area, nice rejection, seen some upside, looking at a bit of a correction in the 4H stroke hourly, and then to buy it back up essentially. So buys look particularly good around here, looking for that higher low, and that's an obvious target to have, because we've had such an impulse, we could see the sellers step back into the market and take it lower. So we have to be careful and not try and push the trade too far, just because we've got the higher time frames on our side. So that's what I'm looking at for USD JPY. Keep an eye out on that area, and that's what I'll look to see. If price can snap bullish again, we could probably go further, but that is a good place to take your profit, and look to walk away, because like I said, we could see the seller step back in and push it further. Okay, I'll take a look at gold as well. Home PC. Sir is a very innocent person and simple. It gotta be simple, mate. Life's like trading. Mate, dating's like trading. There's either a setup or there's no setup. Can't force a setup. If the setup's not there, don't take the setup. And also, don't take a bad setup either. It's all about that risk to reward as well. I'm just joking. Can you check Euro Pound? Of course. Okay, gold and Euro Pound will take a look. I'm taking advice. Yeah, I'm not an expert of that, so I wouldn't trust my advice on that wholeheartedly, guys. Okay, gold. Yeah, so gold, we actually talked about gold quite a lot, to be fair, and I'm looking at shorts for gold. 1650-ish, 1655, 1670 coming to these areas here. Actually, no, 1665 into these areas. I'm looking at nice little head and shoulder there. Left head, right shoulder. I'm looking at a push back down to 1700. We've got a beautiful level the market's holding. And all I'm looking at is the lower high in the market, basically. We've got this crazy lower high on the left here, coming into around that area where I expect that lower high to form. I could be wrong. The market could just rally straight through this. If it does, hopefully I won't get a confirmation to sell. If it's a loss, it's an L. We take it on the chin, we move on. If it breaks above that, that's when I actually flip my bias completely and actually just purely look for longs on gold. Because if you clear 1780, especially through that high, it probably means that gold could actually be on a crazy rally back up to these highs here, 2000, maybe beyond, because the higher time frames for gold are still particularly bullish. And ever since we've broken back above 1700, it could be the catalyst for a big rally. So, you know, I cannot overlook that for gold at the moment. But right now, focus on some sells from these areas here. Take it back down. So I'm just looking for some more upside, basically, for price to retrace. Hopefully that made sense. Home PC, let me know what you're looking at for gold as well. And I'll take a look at Euro Pound Divine, no problem. Oil as well, Bohar, no problem. Okay, so Euro Pound. Okay, so yeah, Euro Pound still kind of correctly falling to the downside. You can see it's been very, very correctively moving down here. I did talk about this one on my weekly analysis, and I did say sells is what we're looking for, back to 0.86200, back down into this support. Reason being, we broke the structure on the left here. I said last week I'm looking at longs for Euro Pound, but only if we stay above this low. And we didn't do that. It broke through the low, so that completely invalidates the longs. And the most logical place price is going to head to is this level here. Could go a little bit further, back down to the lows. So that's obviously an opportunity for price there. But as for right now, sells are your best bet. Next logical place, this level here, 0.86200. So if we're actually looking to sell the market, up here is what we're looking to do. Up here, 0.87100. Or the market just continues down in this corrective nature here. So if you're on the low time frames, and by low I probably mean like half an hour, 30-minute time frame, sorry. The sells will look good on these lower highs. If you're looking for a bit more of a bigger trade, then up here around 0.87 look good to short it back down again as well. But yeah, Euro Pound sells are your best bet. We broke through structure at the lower highs at present. Don't worry, Nazi, I'll get to US 30. I have to say it 98 times, my man. So yeah, looking for a push down into that level and then potentially those lows there as well. But I'm only looking at sells. If I was looking to trade Euro Pound, it would have to be up there. Because if I was on like the 15-minute, then yeah, maybe I'll get into those lower highs. But the risk reward won't look too particularly good if I enter on the hourly. But yeah, that's what I'll look at for Euro Pound. Okay. So that made sense there. Richard, what's the score with Saudi Arabia and Argentina? I assume because you haven't updated, it's probably still 2-1 Saudi. Okay, so yeah, I'll just go run for it again. But Kadseat Chef, no problem. As you keep calm, mate. Do you remember those posters from back in the day? Keep calm. Okay, so yeah, so US 30, that's basically what I'm looking for. Excuse me. It's basically consolidating, so I'm not really too interested in it. At the moment, everything is quite bullish, so I'll probably expect price to continue. But if we can clear the low of the consolidation, that's where the sells look pretty tasty. The lower high is still intact. Looking for another one to form, but I do need price to break through that low first. If not, we can continue higher, maybe break structure and start pushing back to highs. at the moment, for myself, that low needs to go first before I take that bigger sell. And CAD Swiss. Before I end the stream, I'll go through the pairs that I'm looking at to trade this week as well, because I haven't actually done that yet. Where is CAD CHF? So yeah, CAD CHF is kind of sitting with the pairs that I'm not looking to trade at all really. I've got CAD CHF, Pound NZD, NZJPY, USD MXN, AUD NZD. Those are the pairs that I'm not looking to trade at all. I've looked at them and they haven't looked good in terms of structure, so I've just basically put them to one side. So yeah, basically for CAD CHF, the market is, trend to the downside, is coming into these lows. So the market might see some upside now, because it is a pretty strong level the market's trading at. This is support, gave us that big rally, and then started off this huge rally to the upside. So we could see some upside, just very, very corrective. I don't really like how it's been moving lately. So with CAD CHF, I would expect to move up. I wouldn't push it too far though, because we had this huge impulse. I would expect sellers to step back in and eventually push it back down again. But this low here will look good for some long opportunities around 0.711. I like the wicks around there, so we can put another one there. That would be very nice indeed. And probably see another rally to the upside. As for targets, I'll probably say this low here makes the most sense. There's no real clear target on the left here. On the hourly, there's nothing really there to aim for except for that prior low there, and that's a little bit too far for me. There's a little bit too far. So for CAD CHF, buys make the most sense of where we're trading. We had this huge impulsive sell, but it's kind of just stopped on a dime a little bit. So I would expect to see some upside for CAD CHF back up to this area. And yeah, CAD CHF look good for buys. CAD CHF looks good for buys. Just wouldn't push it too far and be a little bit careful. It is very, very corrective, so it might take its time to get there. Okay. Yep, 2-1. How many minutes to go, or is it finished? You have a Praveen clone. Yeah, Praveen's back again. Pound USD. Okay, only twice there. Not too bad there, Nazi. Only twice. Okay, so okay, yeah, I spoke too soon 3 times. Okay, so Pound USD. Pound USD still bullish here. I'm looking at sells for Pound USD, but it's not quite giving me the price action I'm looking for just yet. I'm looking for big sells back down into this area to that price swing high, potentially further as well, because we are trading into this colossal monthly level. So I'm looking at some big sells coming in. But at the moment, we're still seeing these higher lows, as you can see highlighted with that, with those orange dots. We could still head a little bit higher. Back up to that resistance there around 1.192. So Pound USD, depends what time scale you're looking at. For me, I'm looking at sells, so I need this low to break here. So I'm waiting for that low to get broken. It might not do that. We could still fly. If you're looking at the lower time frames, hourly, 30-minute, buys are your best bet. And a retest of that structure to go long looks good as well. Just because we're coming to those highs, I'm waiting to sell the market. So yeah, if we can come to those areas there and break through, I'll look for the change of structure, sell, and then bring it back down. At the moment, Pound USD is still bullish, and if it holds that support, most likely it'll push up to 1.195, maybe back up to 1.2 as well. Okay, so I'll go through the pairs I'm looking at to end the stream, because I haven't actually gone through those pairs just yet. 8 minutes extra time. Wow, I might be able to catch the end of it, to be fair. If we're going to end the stream at 12, I might be able to catch the end of it. Okay, so are you from the UK? Yes, I am. Can you tell by the accent? Good day. I'm joking. Okay, so yeah, the pairs I'm looking at, AUD CAD. I'm looking at AUD CAD shorts. We've got a major lower high potentially forming around these areas. You can see the theme of the market has been consistent lower highs all throughout this structure here. Lower high, lower high, lower high. Big fake out to the upside. Lower high resumes. Looking at another one forming there, simply for another move back down. Nothing more than that, nothing less. We've had a really nice move to the downside. I was actually looking for a test of this structure up here. Unfortunately, didn't quite see that. We kind of gapped down and rolled over. So I'm looking at the market either coming back up to retest that high, or start to give me some development here and give me a lower high, and I'll look to short for the next move to the downside. Clear targets, back down to these lows here, more prior high, turn low, and then looking for a move back down into this area here as well. So clear targets, where we're looking for price to get to. AUD/USD, similar thing as well. Looking at sales, you can see already mapped out the structure. Nothing quite there yet, but I'm looking at the lower highs continuing. Same with AUD/CAD, lower high, kind of equal high there, a bit of a fake out. Lower highs there, equal highs, lower high there again. And looking at potentially another lower high there before move back down into this monthly level here, into that low. So AUD/USD, AUD/CAD, pretty much the same trade. I'm just going to be looking at both of them to see whichever gives me the clean opportunity, the cleaner trade. At the moment, again, I was looking at retest of that high. Same thing with AUD/CAD, retest of that high. Unfortunately, didn't get neither of them. We are pulling back up now, looking to see if we can form some type of lower high around here. At the moment, everything is still too bullish for me, so I'll just be monitoring right now. Or if we rally up again, I'll consider looking to go short up there. So yeah, AUD/CAD, AUD/USD shorts. Gold, I'm looking at selling, which we've gone through a few times, looking at the retest of that kind of neckline, so to speak, or retest of 1765, which is that high there. I'm looking at sells back down again. Gold, for me, bearish bias for now. It's not necessarily bearish bias. I expect the market to go a lot further down. We have kind of broke back above 1700 with this big fake out here, so that kind of doesn't convince me that gold could go down forever, but it looks like we could get some retracement before snapping bullish again. So that's kind of what I'm looking to take advantage of with gold from those areas, and then I could sell it further to the downside. So that's what I'm looking at for gold. I'm also looking at potentially price. Yeah, so around those areas. USD/CAD, I'm looking at some. USD/CAD, I'm looking at some longs, but it's not looking too good right now. It's not looking too good. I mean, it's out of these areas where I expect sellers to be coming back in, looking to take price lower. I will consider looking to go long around 1.33 into that low, or maybe 1.32. But I'm looking at longs for USD/CAD. So at the moment, looking for buys, nothing quite there yet. Gold, I'm looking at sells, nothing quite there yet. AUD/USD looking at sells, AUD/CAD looking at sells, and NCHF looking at sells too. I'll see what we can do at those highs there. But most likely there is nothing. There's nothing there for me. So at the moment, everything's a little bit and nothing quite there. So I'll let you guys know if I get any opportunities. I'll slap it into the Telegram group, so feel free to check it out. Links in the description to that. I think Joe doesn't run a loop. I mean, you probably could do if I didn't stop. Show you guys, let's meet go and watch the football. Much appreciated, Dylan. Great stream. Enjoy the end of the match highlights. Yeah, it'll probably be end of the match highlight. I don't know how many minutes left. If it's 8 minutes, might be able to catch the end. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for tuning into the stream. Thank you so much for coming to the stream. Like always, if I do get any updates, I'll let you know in the Telegram, link in the description. So feel free to check that out if you want to. But yeah, nonetheless, guys, have a great day. And I'll catch you all in the next one.